So we can start with a recap. Previously, we were looking at the research proposal development. So anyone to take us through or anyone to take the lead? Walufu Evans.
Good morning. What's the question? Me, I asked in the group, asked in the chat, why are people always making noise in the WhatsApp group?
That is because, of course, I don't know how to explain this because everyone has a timetable. Actually, for the people that are here, everyone has a timetable, and you know when you're having classes at this level, graduate level, we are not going to push people. We are not going to run after everyone, but let's do the right thing. I know we have a few colleagues that have just joined, so they will confuse you. That is, if you're not steady. But if you have access to your timetable and you know when you're supposed to have your lectures, I don't expect you to join. But let's leave that. We can start off our lecture, Walufu. All other things we have will be.
No, Kakande, you first wait. I think everyone needs to be helped. Someone can be asking a question, but the responses that come up are not always good. Someone is asking a question, then someone comes up and answers anyhow. I don't think that is right. Not all about recapping. I think we have to learn how to help each other.
Walufu, your question is, why do we always have noise in the WhatsApp group? Like, how can I answer that? Can we proceed with the lecture? We shall handle that in the WhatsApp group. It's time for the lecture. Let's handle that in the WhatsApp group. Thank you. Colleagues, we are starting with a recap.
Hello, Madam Doreen. I have a question.
Yes, Magola.
Yes. We're given coursework. We had 15 groups.
Yes, please.
Can we see how we can break the recaps into those discussions of the groups? Because you can task 3 groups to present in one lecture. Then again, another 3 groups. Such by the end of before we do exams, when we have an idea about the questions that were given.
Thank you so much, Ivan. Actually, Doctor had also talked about that, but since he's part of the class, he can give us guidance because he said we would be discussing these things. He said,
or if not, before Doctor concludes the lectures, I think Doctor should give us 2 sessions, 2 to 3 sessions, so that we can discuss.
Okay, Ivan, that is well noted.
Colleagues, good morning. Those are very good ideas, good opinions, and the class president has guided. It is class time. Let's begin with a recap. A recap is of a previous unit, which is unit number 6. Let's not confuse group presentations with recaps. Recaps are meant for the previous class. For instance, this is unit 7. We are saying we are going to look at the development of a dissertation or dissertation writing, which is also having its own aims and objectives. However, we handled unit number 6, proposal development. When we talk about recaps, we recap the previous unit. Discussions, presentations of groups are given marks according to the group. Let's not mix this. So let's have this focus guided. We begin with a recap, and I take up the class, and there will be questions on what I have just presented. That is what should be. Then the group presentation, the 15 groups will begin maybe from tomorrow, depending on how you'll have organized yourselves. But I'm ending my classes today. So let's allow the class flow, probably. I don't know. But it shouldn't really be the time for discussion, but class time. Thank you. Let's go for it.
Thank you so
You're
much.
welcome, Doctor.
Colleagues, we can start off with our recap.
Good morning, colleagues, and good morning,
John.
Doctor.
Yeah.
It is nice to be here today again, and it is a first week of the July, and it is a blessed month to us as a South Sudanese, where we get our independence. On next Thursday, we will have our independence in July, as the month that we raised our flag to be independent country. So that is a reminder for all of us, so that we can know where is South Sudan and when they get independent. This is part of the learning also. Last time we talked about research proposal, and I think research proposal is a blueprint or is a roadmap for intent, study, purpose. That is a research proposal. Also, is identify the problem and research gaps, and it review the relevant literatures and the theory, and it persuade the review that the study is with while. Also, it is explain the purpose, scope, and the guideline. This is regarding the meaning of the proposal research proposal development. Also, the purpose, why Sudan and researchers write the proposal. One, to guide the supervisors during the review and to clarify the directions of the study, and to show mastery of the literature and the method, to protect participant and research quality, and also to seek the institution and the ethical approval. Also is need to clarify the direction of the study. From here, I have to stop and submit, and then my colleague can have taken again. Thank you.
Thank you so much, John. Thank you. Colleagues, we can raise up our hands. You can come in. Feel free to come in and give your and say something and give your submission. Yes, Philip Obonyo. Philip, yes, please. You can give your submission.
Okay. Thank you. I'm called Obonyo Philip. We also have guidelines for proposal writing. And we had looked at what committees usually expect. And one of them was the following the university proposal format. For this case, for term. Then number two, using clear formal academic language. Then using credible sources to support our claims. Then followed by keeping the objectives, questions, and methods aligned. Then using the American psychological, the APA citations and references consistently. And as well as while doing this, we have to consider the ethics and the methodological discipline. I think let me stop there.
Thank you so much, Obonyo. Thank you. Charles Lisha, please give your submission.
Yes, good morning, and it's happy to be back again this morning. So from last week, what I could remember, Professor talked about common mistakes that we students make when we are putting together our proposal. So one of the mistakes is that we always choose topics that are very broad. So in implementing such a topic, it becomes difficult. And secondly, we also look at problem statement without evidence. We just get a problem statement, write a big problem statement, and there is no data to back it up. There is no reference to that. So it's also something to that also it's also a mistake that we students make. And then we copy literature without sentences, without bringing them together to align them to come up with one conclusion. So we just copy literatures and just put them together, but we don't synthesize the idea that they are trying to provide. And also, when writing a proposal, is always important to ensure that the objectives, the question, and the methods are aligned. But in some instances, we fail to ensure that those three are aligned, and those are the backbone of every proposal. That are key to every proposal. And when it comes to the APA citation, most time we don't ensure we have a comprehensive, which is the recommended APA citations within our references. So those are basic mistakes that we most time make when we are coming out of our proposal. So we need to be careful. Thank you. Back to you.
Thank you, Charles. Scovia Chomgisha, would you like to say something? Scovia?
Hello, good morning.
Good
Maybe
morning.
I summarize the processes or the stages for the research development. Beginning the primary information, where you write your background, your names, your registration numbers. Then introduction, where you include the background of the study, that is historical, theoretical, conceptual, and contextual. Then research problem, your objectives, your research questions, and the significance of your study. Then in chapter 2, you go to literature review. And according to Dr., he emphasized us to use the current journals, mainly from 2016, I think so. Then in chapter 3, talk about the methodology, the population size, the sample size determination techniques, the research design, and the research instruments. Then you can also include maybe limitations you are expected at face in your research. I submit.
Thank you. Scovia, Komakech Lawrence, please give your submission. Komakech Lawrence.
Yes, thank you, Doreen. Good morning to you. Good morning, Doctor. Good morning, each and everyone. Last week, basically, we had a discussion. In case maybe I mentioned something that had been said, you'll excuse me because I joined a bit like some minutes late. Last week, we just had a discussion more of research proposal, and maybe I can submit about how to move to come moving, setting your topic, like moving from a broader idea to a researchable study. Here we said you have to look at, start with a manageable topic. You look at something that can be managed. Then you have to narrow that same topic, the manageable topic, into something that is like so clear. Break it down to make it a bit clearer. Then you have to identify the variables that are in that topic that you have. And I remember from the other previous week we had, doctor said that your topic should not exceed 20 words. So that you have to also consider that. Then as you are moving from a broader perspective to a researchable topic or to a researchable study, once you have already set a manageable topic, you have narrowed it down into a clear problem, you have identified the variables, then you can also formulate objectives which are measurable. Then the objectives will help you to determine the model of design that you want, whether it will be qualitative or quantitative or mixed. It will guide you on that. Then while moving from a broader designing academic research, you also have to plan for how you will collect the data and how you will analyze even before you start the real data collection and analysis. Because once you have identified the objective and you have chosen the appropriate design, it will show you which data to collect, how to collect it, and everything. So maybe that's what I can also add on. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Koma Cage. Kiden Robina, would you like to say something? Kiden Robina? Yes, please. Go ahead, Robina. Robina, we are not getting you.
Sorry, my network sometimes disconnects. Good morning, everyone. I hope you're getting me now. Can you guys get me?
Yes, we do.
Yes, please.
You have a text message.
Okay, so I wanted also to have my input. Last time we also went through the research paradigms, and we focused on which method can be used in each of the research paradigms. And we talked about the research paradigm positivism, and we said under positivism, in this case, there is a reality that we are looking at, and in this case, the knowledge is measurable. So for this kind of paradigm, we use the quantitative approach for carrying out the research. Then we also talked about constructivism. Under constructivism, the reality is socially constructed, and the knowledge that we are trying to search is subjective. So it requires in-depth understanding of the experiences of the subjects that of the study sample that are involved. So in this case, we use the qualitative method. Then we also said, we talked about the pragmatism. In this case, the reality is practical, practical, and the knowledge can be judged by usefulness. So this kind of, in this paradigm, we need to involve both methods, both quantitative and also qualitative, to ensure that we exhaust what we are looking for and we can be able to come up with a clear conclusion. So when using the mixed methods, we are focusing on a phenomenon that are complex. In this case, what we are looking at has the component of the component that is measurable and a component that requires in-depth understanding of the experiences of the subjects that are involved. So during the mixed methods research, the two methods will be used. And once the data is collected, when the data has been analyzed, it has to be triangulated, meaning that the two the two separate data that has been analyzed has to be put together. Then a meaningful conclusion is drawn out of it. So this is what I have to say. Thank you, and over to you.
Thank you so much, Robina. Now, Nkwasa Elvis, would you like to say something? Now, Nkwasa Elvis. Bagenda Marvin, please proceed.
Good morning, colleagues. Maybe what I can say about the previous unit briefly is about what a research proposal is all about. Briefly, I can say that a proposal is written before any data is collected. So it's literally a plan, not a product. And that is one of the, sorry about that. That's one of the distinctions between a proposal and a dissertation, because with a dissertation, it literally reports what actually has been done. And then also we can say that a research proposal, it's literally what lays down or lays out the structure of the study, that is the problem, the objectives, the methods. So the researcher in this scenario, or the reviewers, or whoever is going to use it, can know what, the shape of the work even before it starts. And then also something else that Doctor talked about is that it identifies the problem and the research gap, whereby it states what is wrong, what is unknown, and what is the actual problem, what is unresolved, and shows the existing literature that hasn't been addressed. Literally shows also what we call the gap in the literature. And that is what justifies why the study needs to happen. And it's the main goal of the study. And we also talked about that the research proposal explains the purpose, the scope, and also the significance of the study, whereby the purpose is what the study aims to achieve. The scope is the boundaries of the study, that is the geographical, the time-based limits, and how much are you going to cover. And then even the significance, say, what are the benefits, who benefits, what are the benefits and who benefits, and why it matters. That is the policy, that is the theory and the practice. And then lastly, note that this, it also reviews relevant literature and the theory, which it shows the researcher has to read around the topics, then the study within the existing theories, and then the findings that are already existing, and also use that review to shape in the research gap. Briefly, that's what I can say about what a research proposal is all about. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much. Marvin, we can have Shakira Nakubura.
Thank you so much, Doreen. I'm going to talk about aligning proposal elements. So, in research proposal, we have to know that every section of the proposal must connect logically with others. So, a proposal can only be considered strong when the topic, we say the problem statement, the objectives, the research questions, methodology, and analysis address the same issue. So if one of them does not match the others, the proposal does loses its coherence and may be rejected. So if I use what doctor gave us, he said under topic, gave us the remuneration and teacher performance. So the topic, if I'm to explain the topic, it tells us, the readers, what the study is about. So under what doctor gave us, the researcher wants to investigate whether teachers' salaries influence how well teachers perform. So a good topic should be clear, specific, researchable, and relevant. So what we have to know is that a topic does not explain the whole study. It just introduces the subject. So if we go to the problem statement, the problem statement tells us why should this study be conducted. Let me say, according to what was in step 1, problem gives us the performance gaps despite the policy reforms. So although the governments have introduced the education reforms, the teachers' performance remains below expectations. So if I'm to suggest the gaps that may be, we can say high teacher absenteeism, poor learner outcomes, and so on. So a research problem, if it's not conducted, it means there is no justification for conducting research, because a research problem justifies why the research is conducted. So if we go to the objective explains why the researcher intends to achieve, like what the researcher intends to achieve. So let me give an example. From what I explained from step 1, the objective determines whether the remuneration influences performance. So everything still focuses on the same issue. If you deviate from what you started with, the alignment loses, like you lose alignment, and the research also loses focus. So if I go to the research question, each objective you stated should produce at least one research question. Let me say, how does the pay affect teacher performance? So the research question simply converts the objective into a question that data collection will answer. So if we go to research method, you can use any method that you know, but usually mixed methods are used. You can use surveys, interviews. So let me say, if I want to use surveys, I collect that quantitative data from teachers. I ask them about their salary satisfaction, the motivation levels, attendance, and the classroom preparation. Then from interviews, I can get the qualitative data from head teachers, the teachers themselves. So interviews help explain why the teachers feel motivated or demotivated. So that is to do with research method. If I go to data analysis, data analysis can be done. Doctor gave us descriptive statistics and thematic analysis. So once data is collected, it must be analyzed. That is the whole essence of it. If you collect data, you must be able to analyze it. So one of the data that can be collected is quantitative data through surveys. So the descriptive statistics can be frequencies, percentages, means, like the way we used to do in our lower levels. And then the qualitative data can be through the interviews, like the way I've explained from the previous step. So the message is that every part of the proposal must point toward the same research problem. So the flow should be a topic, going to the problem, then the problem leads to the objective, and then from the objective we get the research questions. Then from the research questions, we have to know how we are going to do it through the methodology, and then we analyze our data. So if there is no alignment, we cannot understand how the research is conducted. Like the research itself creates more gaps. That's what I wanted to say.
Thanks so much, Shakira, for those insights and how you've actually described how everything should link to the topic, the questions, the methodology, every approach you take, the methods, then any data collection tools we use, they have to link towards answering the question that we set out to basically answer. So that really causes us to be very specific about the alignment of every step going back to the very first beginning point of what we are doing. So thanks so much for that discussion. I would like to call in Vincent to say something. Yes, Vincent.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. President. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Doctor. Hopefully that everyone is fine. Thank you so much, Shakila, for highlighting that. I just wanted to add on some key things that we should look at before we click the submission button. This is one area that also Doctor discussed in our previous engagement. And these are things that we should be keen and critical about after we have done our proposal. We feel like everything is ready. We just have to do a final check to understand if everything is really done according to the way it's supposed to be done. And first of all, that is looking at the title. Is it focused enough? Is it precise? And I remember him, Doctor, talking about having not more than 20 words in our title. That means you should really narrow your scope, make sure that it is not vague, and then the key variables, that is the independent variable should be included very well. And also we talked about identification of the population that we're going to work with, clearly specifying the target group or setting where what your proposal is looking at. And then the second thing that is making sure that the background and the problem statement really connects very well. In our last discussion, we talked about things that you can consider to make the background is well developed. That is, for example, using the funnel kind of method, where you start from the broad context to a specific gap that you want to talk about, then making sure that you connect really the dots from the background, and you set up the problem very well, citing evidence enough and making sure that it is grounded in the real world data, not just assumptions. And then making sure that also the third thing is making sure that the objectives, the search questions, and also the methods align. And that means that you're going to whatever you're going to talk about here when it comes to objectives should be really mirroring the same thing that you're going to talk about when it comes to the questions, and it should be shown in the method that you're going to use. So we have to make sure that we choose data collection methods in this case that answer the questions that we have come up with, and make sure that we verify that all the data analysis plans will be in position to help us answer the objectives, fulfill these objectives, and respond to the questions that we have set. And then the next thing is making sure that our literature is current, and it is critical, and it is sensitized. In this case, we do not have to we do not have to consider data or literature that is old, unless maybe it is a theory or it is something that that has been updated over time. Doctor has so much been emphasizing focusing on literature that is within a 10 years time frame, and making sure that we don't just paste this literature, but we go ahead and first of all, before we even go into that, make sure that we theme maybe based on the objectives that we are having, and make sure that we analyze, not just listing them. We go deep down and analyze, maybe do some critique, some contradictions, some gaps that are within these literatures, and then make sure that we maintain our argument using this report. And then we talked about validity, reliability, and ethics. Are these things addressed before you click the submission button? And that means we are going to look at our tools. Like, do they really accurately capture the intended variables? And I've usually described the protocols to keep your data collection reliable. And then when it comes to protection of the participants, have you talked about how you're going to maybe do the informed consent and make sure that you've really described the measures that is going to help your participants to be anonymous, things like that. So and in case maybe you have any biases, how are you going to address them? So this all fall under the part of it. And then the lastly, that was the APA citations and references. Are they consistent? Sometimes you may have maybe in-text citations. Do they also come when it comes to the reference list? Do they match? And have you double checked maybe to make sure that last time we talked about the DOI links, like, do they match? Is everything really can it be accessed? And then also making sure that we look at the website that we have added, in case it is a website, the books and the journals, and maybe different sources. Have you followed some standard rules? Have you not just gotten something that is not credible enough, and you've added it as your so those are some of the things that Dr. discussed before you click submission, just to do a random check and make sure that everything is aligned. Thank you so much. Back to you, Vice President.
Thanks so much, Vincent, on that emphasis on alignment from beginning to end, to ensure that everything is really mapping or basically connecting the other, so the previous one. So that's really, very insightful. I appreciate that. At this moment, I would like to call in Moses to say something. Moses, I see your hand is up.
Yes, thank you, Class President. I wanted also to highlight something about what we discussed in our previous class, and that is our standard proposal structure. I'll briefly mention that we looked at a structure that has 5 components, and the first one being the preliminary information as we prepare our proposal. The first section that Doctor mentioned in our previous class is this preliminary information, and in this section, it sets the initial parts of a proposal, which is the title page, the abstracts, and the table of contents, the list of figures, and so forth. And they also mentioned that during the development of the proposal, this section, we should always ensure to have it numbered separate from the main proposal report. And I mentioned that this should be done in numeral and should be separate from the other sections of the proposal. And the other section in our standard proposal is the chapter 1, which actually introduces the research, and then introduces also the topic, and it covers the background of the study, the problem statement, which issue is the proposal trying to solve, and what are the specific questions, research questions, and objectives of the proposal. The other section of the proposal, which is section 3, this is about literature review. Here, Doctor mentioned that you analyze existing academic research related to the topic. This section proves your understanding of the current knowledge and highlights gaps in the previous studies. And it is in this section where we establish the theoretical framework guiding the research project. The other section that is part of our standard proposal development structure is the area of methodology. This is now our fourth section, which we normally write as chapter 3. In this section, it clearly stipulates the action plan of our proposal. This is where it details down exactly how we intend to conduct the research. It includes research designs, things like data collection methods, if it is surveys or interviews. It also mentions data analysis tools and any other ethical considerations that are to be considered during the execution of the research. So in brief, it is an action plan of the proposal. And then finally, the last section, this is the part which is the last on our proposal structure, which is the appendices. This section, of course, holds materials that at times are too lengthy to be included in the common text, and examples of such materials could include research questionnaires or instruments that we used in carrying out the research. It can also entail work plans, budgets, schedules, and any other information that we could not be put in the research report, but it was used or is significant in carrying out the research. So basically, this is it. This is our standard proposal structure. I beg to stop here and back to you, Mr. President.
Thanks so much, Moses, for those wonderful insights. And as you can structure, it's very important for us to understand structure. And I am really glad that Doctor did a great job, and you can see the feedback being given. It's very crucial and insightful. So we're going to have two more colleagues before we hand over to Doctor. So we're going to start with James Adero, and then we shall end with Thomas Simon. Yes, James, the floor is yours.
Yes, thank you. Good morning, President and colleagues and Doctor. Last week, my take home was about the research paradigm with it is 4 pillars. So he talked about the research paradigm, which is the over.
From our side, or
yes, it is the overall philosophical approach that guides how a researcher understands the reality, also acquires knowledge and conducts the research to make it is let me say the choices of research method, and it is a design. Now here he talked about the common research paradigm, which is
yes, James. A second. Yes, Nanka Moses, do you mind muting? Moses. Thank you so much. James, you can go on.
We have positivism relies on objectives, measurements, and quantitative methods. He talked about the interpretism, constructism. These are he normally focuses on understanding people's experience using the qualitative methods. Then in the paramatism combines qualitatives and qualitative and quantitative methods depending on the research paragraphs. These are the two items. They combine it when you are doing the research on your proposals. It brings the two together such that you can go and make some comparison. Then critical theory seeks to identify and address the social. It addresses the social inequalities and promotes the changes in your proposal writings. Whatever you have gotten it, that is the time you can make some of the additional changes to make the proposal flow. When he mentioned, he talked about the 4 pillars which supports the research paradigm. 1, ontology. This is the nature of reality. I think, how do I put it? Maybe we say, what is the reality? Then what exactly you have seen it? What is that one which is really true about it? For example, positivism believes there is at least one objective, which is a reality in that phase. Concerning the what? The paragraph, when you are doing your research proposal. Interpretism. These are the realities in socially constructed and can be very, these are more very formed persons. At least you can even mention the informed persons in. Then epistemology. There is the second one called epistemology. These are the nature of knowledge. Nature of knowledge, I can say the example is positivism. Obtaining knowledge through observation and measurements. Through observing, you can assess and know that this is something which is right or something which is wrong when a person is really reading your proposal. There is what we call interpretism. Gain knowledge through understanding people's experience and meanings. When you are in doubt doing your research, you need to have that knowledge on how, when you are interacting with the people in the community, it helps you to understand them very well. Then the third one, we have axiology. This is a role of values. What role do values play in research? I can maybe put it in this way. Example, a positivism aim to remain value-free, and should be objectives on your proposal. Example 2, we can say interpretism, acknowledge that the research value may influence the researchers. Whatever you put there, whoever will see it can also bring that impact to the researcher. Then the last one of the 4 pillars is methodology, approach to research. Meaning that we can say the example is the qualitative methodology. This is a survey and interpret and experiment. You go and survey and do some experiment statistically and analyze it. Then the other one is qualitative methodology, meaning that you can go and carry your interviews, observations, thematic analysis. Then the last one, we can say mixed method. This mixed method, it combines both the qualitative and quantitative approach. It brings the two together when you do what we call, that is what we call mixed method. With this, I beg to submit. Thank you.
Thank you so much, James, for those insights on the paradigms and how they shape the approach we use when conducting our research, because our lived experiences plus the ethics we have to follow plus the experiences of those society around us really shapes a lot in the approach that we take in conducting our research. So thanks so much for reminding us that it's really crucial that we really forward approaches that really matter for our research success. So thanks so much for those insights and the role that paradigms play in our success for conduction of research. So I will give a chance to Thomas.
Yes, thank you very much, class president. Good morning, doctor, and good morning to all my colleagues here. Thank you indeed for this opportunity. A lot has been said about the research, the chapters. However, I wanted to dwell in chapter 2, just about literature review. In regards to literature review, I don't know what guidance Utamu can guide us onto, but there is an increasing challenge in that particular field. Like if we are familiar with the case of KPMG, the Canadian research company, recently on the research, I'll just say research fraud or unethical practice, we saw that KPMG was forced to pull out a global report because the report cited case studies claiming major companies were using AI advanced systems to transform their operations. But the researchers and the flag organization revealed that the examples were completely invented. That is, it is AI generated. So such cases of isolation of AI generating such kind of information, it is quite becoming common. And I think this is not only for the case of KPMG, but also other companies as well who might be facing such issues. Now, as much as research is concerned with generating new knowledge, describing, exploring, predicting, I see this is quite a challenge now that we have AI. We have the good side of it, and we also have the bad side of it. Now, in some areas of research, you may discover that it is not well spoken about or well written about. Now, as a researcher, and if you are using AI to assist in some extent, I think this is where sometimes it becomes quite a challenge, because the AI will definitely master your pattern on especially understanding your research problems and all that. And when you go to that part of the literature review, it may try to customize the literature review so that it can fit well, and you can see that it is really fitting perfectly. Now, KPMG has already fallen a victim of this, and I think this has really imposed them a very big reputational risk, and also maybe damaging the credibility of their research department or any other research that they will be published. I think a lot of issues of researchers or let me say scholars will definitely look at it from a different angle. Now, as emerging students who are into research or young researchers, what is a specific guide to a literature review, especially in areas that are not well explored? Is it possible that you can document or maybe collect data primarily from some of the sources that are not really documented or published, and you become the first to publish such information so as you can have a full control over your research? And secondly, what is the length of literature review, just to be specific on some of the topics. Must we write a lengthy literature review even if there is no information? At least this may guide us in terms of taking control and giving the direction of our research, not just accumulating knowledge from the internet and AI generated kind of information. So basically, I just need some guidance on this so that we don't fall victim of such hallucination that AI is fabricating, or that we may encounter as we do research in the future. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Thomas, for those insights and for the questions you've asked. I think they are really crucial questions. If I've gotten it right, I think your major questions are on the length of the literature section that we have to read. Maybe try to be judgmental about what is sufficient, what is not sufficient, and also the area where the topic has not been as basically limited literature. It has actually had limited exploration. So to answer on that, basically I'll try to answer the first question, and then Dr. Can help us supplement. When it comes to the area which is not yet well explored, I think using the limited information you have and what you can actually put forward as a claim, basically more like a standard, basically what you put forward about the basically the facts about the field matters, because that limited literature or that limited exploration helps you to firm your stand and why you actually why the motivation for you to go ahead and basically explore that section more, because the importance of research is basically to generate knowledge, and basically that can actually be from a section, an area which has been explored before, or even an area which has been underexplored. So in that regard, that's what I can say on that. Then I'll give Evans 1 or 2 minutes before we hand over to Doctor. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Thomas, and good morning, everyone. If an area has not been explored, then that gives you the high chances to conduct your research then, because there is limited knowledge. Then you can base on that to generate knowledge based on your area of interest regarding that specific area. But I wanted to make a comment on the aspect of AI. Yes, AI is driving everything, and everything is changing because of AI, and very many roles are going to be phased out because of AI. But you cannot use AI when you don't have ideas, because AI only gives you generic data, and if you are not sure of what knowledge AI is giving, if you can't validate it, then you are more likely to carry on mistakes. Because just take an example. If you do just conduct some simple research, give 5 people the same question and give them the same AI tool, you will find that they will come up with the different responses. The answers they will come up with is different. Another one will explore the question very well, another one will not explore, but they have all used the same AI. That tells you that AI alone does not help you. It only helps you put together a list of what you know and uncover what you don't know, but you have ideas on it. So I think that is my response to that. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Evans, for those insights, and thanks to everyone for the participation, for the those insights. I think they have really been great, beneficial to everyone here. At this moment, I would like to give Dr. the audience to lead us through, basically maybe to expand on those few questions that Thomas has posed, plus what we've actually supplemented on, and then introducing this lecture. Doctor, good morning, and the floor is yours at the moment. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr. President, and the class at large, for giving me this opportunity again to share with you some small insights about what I'm scheduled to do today. That is presenting our last unit of the research methods module. That is unit number 7. We handled unit number 1, we handled unit number 2, we handled unit number 3, we handled unit number 4, we handled unit number 5, and last weekend we handled unit number 6. Today we're having our last lecture, unit number 7, which is basically dissertation writing. And colleagues, as we write these dissertations, we ought to know where we came from. Because we are being told that research becomes powerful when written clearly and shared in a manner that you understand that, yes, this is it. So colleagues, again, my name is Dr. Joseph Michael Okwadi-Tukey. I'm a senior lecturer in the Department of Economics and Management Business School in our mighty University of Wutamu. I'm privileged to be with you this morning, a little settled, to be able to deliver this lecture. Colleagues, we all understand that dissertation writing is very key. And in the course of our discussion today, we shall look at the following. Number 1, the aim and objectives of this specific unit, unit number 7. Number 2, we shall a little see how we can connect the dots from proposal development to dissertation. I think you have already done a good job for those of you who are actively engaged in issues to do with the recaps. Those who are quiet, it's also okay. I normally see names familiar to those of my relatives, including that of my mother, but I don't see people here mentioning anything. But anyhow, we shall cross the bridge when we get there. I don't know whether you're able to see my slides. Are you able to see my slides moving?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Thank you
yes.
so much. Thank you so much. So still in the course of our discussion, we shall be able to look at the meaning of a dissertation. What is a dissertation? Then we shall go ahead and look at the do's and the don'ts of effective writing. Then, of course, after we have written a dissertation, so what? There is a saying that you either publish or perish. You have to make presentation in conferences. We have gotten one which is forthcoming. That is International Conference of Technology and Management. And of course, after making your conference presentations, what next? You ought to publish. Do we have one? Yes, we have got IJOTOM, International Journal of Technology and Management, which is based in the US. Colleagues, after that, we shall also be able to look at, how results should be disseminated. Yes, you cannot bake your cake and have it. Disseminate these results. Disseminate the findings. This is key and very important. So, having said that, what is the aim of unit number 7? Number 1, it basically transforms proposals into dissertations. You have proposed and have accepted. Yes, you say, hi, I love you. And I say, hi, I too love you. And this is normally common with gents. Ladies don't normally do this. They cannot actually clearly tell you that they are fallen in love with you, although some of them can pretend. So if you have written a letter to your loved one and you really want to love her or him, and now there is a response, yes, I love you. So we are transforming this. If it is a yes, then what next? You have now to begin the task of marriage. So the aim of unit number 7 is transforming the proposal that we have accepted from the time when you presented in your specific school, and we said, yes, you have defended this. And we are saying, yes, go for it. So After that, then what next? You ought now to begin doing what we call dissertation writing. A dissertation is written in structures, which are in chapters. Chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 4, chapter 5. Meaning, whereas a proposal has got chapter 1, chapter 2, and chapter 3, a dissertation has gotten other chapters that have been added. That is chapter 4 and 5, which is key. But again, we are saying we also have got preliminary pages. That is what I would call, probably it is also important for us to talk about it. The preliminary pages where we have got, the title page. Then in this case, you also have what I would call, a declaration page. Then you go to approval page. Then, of course, this time round, we accept you to dedicate because it's a dissertation. Yes, the dedication, yes, acknowledgements, yes. Then, of course, you go to the table of contents, yes, very important. List of tables if you have. Of course, you must have them in the dissertation. If you didn't have them in a proposal, you must have them here. Tables, yes. And then list of figures, yes. List of acronyms, very important. Then, now, you go to an abstract, added here, abstract. Yes, using a 5 W's and 1 H, very important. Colleagues, then from there you go to the body. The body will begin from chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 4, chapter 5. 1, what could be the question about? I thought
the
floor.
The slide is not moving.
Where is it? Is it on the aim of unit 7?
Yeah. Still
okay, don't focus on the moving slides. Just be listening to me. I have not moved. But if you want me to move these things, it's okay. I'm going to move them very fast and we end here. Class, is that okay? I thought we were here to understand them. Let me begin moving the slides. So the structures, then observation of ethics, writing with scholarly clarity, preparing published papers, dissemination of evidence for practice. I think that's what colleagues want. So let me begin moving the slides. A recap of unit number 6 is about the proposal development. And we have clearly said a proposal development is what we had as our unit number 6 in the last weekend. And of course, we have had people recapping, but others are reversing it. People are recapping unit number 2. I think I'm not happy about that. Either I'm a poor teacher or some of us are poor listeners. I don't think whether we had unit number 2 last weekend. I don't think so. 50% of the people were recapping were actually recapping unit number 2. We should have actually been recapped on our 3rd presentation. But anyhow, that is how we are sometimes. But a recap of a proposal development is basically about looking at what sections we have in the proposal. Preliminary pages, the body, and the appendices. That's what I expected. So colleagues, I want us to clarify this. The problem clearly justified. If in a proposal there is a problem which is justified, then we are good to go. What do we mean by justification of the problem? We are saying if you claim there is a problem, what is the magnitude of the problem? We want to see how big the problem is before you can think that we can accept anything. Yes? What are the objectives? Are they aligned to the questions? Yes. Have you actually reviewed the literature? And if so, how did you do it? Did you actually establish any gap? Yes. Then the method fit and the design. Did you actually have the methodology? And does it fit to what you are discussing about? If it is a quantitative study, is the methodology fitting such? If it's qualitative, is it fitting such? That's what we're talking about. So colleagues, we have talked about AI and so forth. Colleagues, AI has come here to stay. And if somebody criminalizes AI, then there is a problem.
AI is a tool that has come to make things easy. We do not want people to have, cracking their brains. My mother, when I graduated with my first PhD, was asking me, I'm told that paper you have just graduated with destroys the brain. Can I look at your brain? She felt like she wants to peep in my brain. So she started, touching my head and so forth. I told her, Mama, the brain has not been touched. It's okay. I'm told when people do that paper, you must get blind. Wear your glasses. I have mine here. I said, Mama, at your 80s, you are not able to use glasses. Why would you think I can put on glasses in 40s? Because I think I did that program when I was, I think, 39 something. So, colleagues, this is key and very important that we ought to understand. Maybe if I can answer one of the presenters here. Do not criminalize AI. Criminalize the people who plagiarize. And this is now the issue that I'm talking about of ethics. Ethics planned before data is very key. Do not go and copy and paste. Do not go and bring data from a mango tree. AI is one of the sources of information. Yes, but it should not do work for you, but you can get information from that. Meaning, it is like any other tool which can be used to simplify things. It's like SPSS. You cannot tell me that I should not use SPSS and I shall just go, at one time I was teaching in dental school and I was being criminalized and I was actually chased out of the class. I will never forget that. But of course, I forgave the principal for doing that. Why? Because I was in UMI that time. Yes, and I think I was towards the completion of my PhD program, but definitely I'd done a number of masters as well. And I just concluded with one again in UMI. And I told the students, each of them should buy a PC and people afforded. And I told them these issues of doing things manually should stop. And the idea at the end of the day, I called somebody from UMI to install SPSS. You'll get to know some of these packages are very important for you to understand, to analyze your data. So as we did that, I was actually told I did bad because those students should not have known that. They should do things manually. I said, but why? Why? It is like you have a mic and you are shouting like you are in the village. This is an instrument which is making things easy. Why do you have to shout? Talk slowly and gently, and the mic will do the job. And that's what we're talking about. So, colleagues, there is a difference between academic theft and actually acknowledging where you get the information from. So, first of all, I do not believe that AI is an original brain. No, the people who feed AI are human beings like you and me. I have a daughter who did a PhD in machine learning and artificial intelligence in the University of Dublin, that is in Ireland. And I used to ask her, people criminalize AI, what is your take about it? Say, Dad, I think they do not know what they are talking about. AI is able to give you information that you cannot easily get. What you only need to do, like any other tool, paraphrase the information you get because it simplifies things. Right now, I'm doing a master's degree in security studies. I think many of you have known I'm a police officer, at the level of a superintendent, and I do research, innovation, and policy, and that's why I'm on the payroll of the Uganda government. And when we are doing exams, they will tell you to share your screen like the way I've done it, and they will monitor you, and if you attempt to go to AI, they will mark you, and they will dismiss you, and you will never like it. So they will want you to use your brain to be able to answer this. But this is one of the tools which that helps you to simplify research, but it's being fed by human beings. I don't know whether I'm able to answer some of these questions. But of course, we have tools that can actually analyze how much of AI you have gotten. In my university, anything beyond 20%, you will be criminalized. And you find there are students who can go up to 80% or 100%. That is unacceptable. It is like plagiarism. In most of the time, before I can upload my work, if plagiarism is beyond 2%, then I know there's a problem. Even that 2% is normally because sometimes I quote myself because I'm also a researcher. So any information that I have quoted, AI will claim it is. And those people who look at the plagiarism software, of course, it will say you have stolen it from somewhere. But there should be a limit. Colleagues, we are saying when you're writing a proposal, observe the issues of ethics before data collection. Colleagues, I want us to summarize this. Proposal to dissertation is very important. What is the bridge? First of all, proposal asks questions like what, why, and how. This is what you ought to understand. However, dissertations are reports which actually report what happened. Therefore, they are written in past tense. Whereas proposals are written in the future tense because you are proposing, then you ought to understand that dissertations are written in the past tense. You will help me understand in case the time is not enough, but I wanted to move and be explaining. But if you want me to move the slides within 10 minutes, next I will have finished. Thank you. So colleagues, data answers research questions. That's what you ought to understand. Meaning there is a research question that you will have posed during the time of proposal. But now with the dissertation, you have collected data and you have analyzed it, and you ought to have answered the question that you asked at the proposal level. Colleagues, findings connect to literature. Very important. You had your literature written, and somebody asked, what is the length of literature? Colleagues, it is unlimited. That's what I must tell you. In a dissertation, it is unlimited. But this is the structure that you should have maybe known. And to me, recast the question to ask, what is the structure required in literature review chapter? Number one, you should have an introduction. And the introduction is of the literature, meaning the literature section or the literature chapter, which is normally marked as 2.1. Introduction, and it is the introduction of the chapter, not the entire study. No. Then 2.2, theoretical review. What theory did you use to anchor the study? 2.3, conceptual review. What concept did you, Marvin, have this call? Hello? I'm in class. Is it urgent? Marvin is here. Let me just talk to Marvin and give me some time, okay? Marvin, just go the other side. I'm in class. How much money is required? Do I send money? Do I send it to you? Okay. So, just a moment, class. Just bear with me. It's urgent issues. Just a moment. Just a moment. Stay with me. Stay with me. Stay with me.
Waliwo ekizimbe bakita Gazroon Suits mu maaso awo genda mpola mpola.
Stay with me. Stay with me.
Waliwo ekizimbe bakita Gazroon Suits awo mu maaso.
Asimwe Rogers.
The green ogenda gira maaso mpola mpola.
Asimwe Rogers. Kindly mute your mic. Marvin, let her confirm I've sent the money. I am in class. She can call you directly. Allow me to finish this class. Okay, police, sorry about that. We are looking at the bridge. And when we talk about the bridge, we are talking about proposal to a dissertation. Colleagues, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes. Doctor. Yeah, we're bridging the proposal to a dissertation, and we're saying we have to look at issues to do with data. And we're saying data answers research questions, and findings connect to literature. And when we talk about findings connecting to literature, we are saying the literature that somebody was asking, how long should it be? It is unlimited, because what you ought to understand is that in the dissertation, we are not going to limit the number of pages we are going to write. Most of my dissertation, I can check what I wrote for my master's in this same university. I think the dissertation was as long as just only the body was 147 pages, which to me, if you happen to be a student I supervise and you are talking about social sciences, unless if it's pure research, I mean a pure science, you are going to have issues with me because I want you to explain. And that's what it means. So what is the length of the literature review? It is unlimited. But what I think you should have asked is what is the structure of the literature review chapter? I say 2.1 is the introduction of the chapter. 2.2 is the theoretical review, the theory that you use to anchor the study. If you had 3 or 4, which one was most relevant? Then we can also talk about the conceptual review. What were the key concepts? I'm talking about IV and the DV. If you had also the MV, then you bring it up. If you have the chaotic variable, bring it up. So those key variables must actually be used as key concepts, and you need to review them very well. But again, you also need to look at issues to do with the actual review, which is objective by objective. Now I'm still answering the question that was asked. What should be the lens of this literature review? If you have 5 maybe objectives, then your literature review is going to be very, very heavy. Yes? So the more the objective, the more the literature that you are going to review. And in most cases, we need at least maybe 2 at master's level, but 3 would be adequate. Beyond that, it becomes heavy for a master's student. But if you are doing the second master's, no worries, because you can actually still continue and be able to produce what you think you can handle. Colleagues, after actual review, which is normally done objective by objective, what else are you supposed to handle? Then you go to what we would call, you know, the related studies. Somebody still asks that sometimes when you look at the case studies, it becomes a problem. No, I don't think so. Let me tell you, colleagues, and I want to be very honest with you. If there is anything I love most on this planet Earth, my children sometimes ask me, Daddy, if they brought us here and they bring research here, what will you take? But even you, I produce you after researching about your mother. So then they laugh. So I take research for breakfast, for lunch, and for supper. And I want to tell you, if you are not using related studies, then what are you doing? Because ideally, at the end of the day, research is about looking at what others have already done. Research, meaning you are searching again. You are searching from what exists. Why are you searching? Because you want to establish the gap. And those gaps are the ones that you will be able to fill. And that's what we call synthesis of literature review, meaning what is the meaning that you have gotten after researching. I don't know what I'm communicating. Then you will be able to do connecting the dots, what we call the gap analysis. Colleagues, after connecting the findings to literature, then do the conclusion, which should be derived from evidence. Meaning, the conclusions you make is based on chapter 4, which is actually what we want to understand so much. You have gone to the field to do what? To collect data. And after going to the field and you have collected data, you come back to your desk to do what? To do the analysis. And after analyzing, what do? You have to write a report. And that report must have conclusive evidence, which is derived from chapter 4 in the Wutamu research guidelines that will be able to allow you to draw this kind of study such that you make recommendation ideal at the end of it all. I don't know what I'm communicating. Colleagues, am I communicating? If I'm not, please let me know.
Yes, you are communicating.
Doctor, you are communicating.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. So colleagues, having said that, what is the meaning of a dissertation? I think we all know a dissertation is a scholarly research report. The word scholarly Shakira, you're asking a question, go for it.
Yeah, Doctor, thank you. I lost track as you were still explaining what we are writing under the literature review of a dissertation. I stopped at the conceptual review, then the rest, I think that I lost network, and then I came back when you were talking about
Okay, I can just outline for you.
Yes.
Within the literature review section, according to the UTAM guidelines, you are supposed to take it in chapter 2. And therefore, chapter 2 has got the key areas that you must capture. And we start with the 2.1, which is the introduction of the chapter. 2.2, which is what I would call, the theories which you have used to anchor the study. Then in 2.3, we have to look at issues to do with the key concepts. That's the conceptual review. What are the key concepts? And they are written in themes. Then 2.4, you are going to look at the actual review, objective by objective. If you have 3 objectives, then you are supposed to ensure that you review those 3 objectives and make sure there is relevant literature to that extent. Then 2.4, you have to go to issues to do with related literature. That's why I was disagreeing with somebody who submitted that we don't have to use case studies. To be very honest with you, case studies might be understood differently. Maybe that specific case are the issues. But so long as it's published work, why don't you want me to use it? I will refer to it. Anything published, it means it went through vigorous kind of assessment. I will use whatever is being, shared. I don't know, maybe I will stop here. People are asking questions. We shall not continue, and I answer questions. Jessica, what's the question?
Yeah, thank you so much, Doctor. I just wanted to throw more clarity on the difference between documentary review and literature review. Thank you.
Documentary review basically is looking at the documents. You are reviewing documents. It is normally taken as a secondary kind of, data. Call it data, call it data. Meaning there is already information which is available for you to be able to review. Some people call it a desk review. So literature review is generally reviewing the literature, either documentary or even articles, books, and so forth. Basically, looking for information that has already been published. If it's not published, then it must have been presented in the conferences, or it is in journal articles. And today, we have stopped. Most of the scholarly, writers have actually desist from us quoting books because some of these books are now obsolete. So we normally want you people to quote recent articles, and at least which are 10 years old, not less than 10 years. For this matter, we ought to look at the literature between 2016 to 2026. I don't know whether I've been able to answer this, although we're still on the meaning of a dissertation. I hope we know where we have not moved. So let's agree as a class. Do we answer questions now, or you allow me to present? I don't know, colleagues.
Questions will be answered later.
Doctor, continue with the presentation. Questions will be answered later, Doctor.
So Jessica, you still have your hand up. Have I satisfied you or not?
Thank you. Thank you.
Can you lower your hand? Thank you so much. Colleagues, I just wanted to plead with you. We finish this lecture, then ask questions. Otherwise, we might not be able to finish. Shakira, I didn't finish explaining what I needed, but ask that question. Remind me after the class. Otherwise, the meaning of a dissertation is very key. It is original scholarly research report. Scholarly means you, the writer, must have evidence which is resulting from what you have collected from evidence which is academic based, which can be verifiable, that has been tested, and it should be current. It demonstrates what we call independent inquiry, meaning each of you will be able to go to the field to collect data, analyze it, and come with an independent report. And the purpose here is not only to fulfill that you have written a dissertation, no, but for you to be able to contribute to knowledge and practice. But again, you are supposed to defend your work, your dissertation, your thesis before a competent team of examiners. In Utamu, I'm part of that panel. And when you come and you sit to K there, no, I'm also a competent person to examine you. So when I ask you questions about your work, don't get annoyed with me. So that's what happens. We call it viva voice, meaning you defend it using your voice. Marvin, you never came back to me. Have they received the money? Thank you, thank you, thank you. So colleagues, this is very important, very, very important. So this defending that you do before a competent panel is normally using as the key areas of examination using institutional guidelines. Utamu has got institutional guidelines, which we call the research proposal and dissertation writing. And please, I'm using these slides for me to be able to guide you on what to be included, because this is what is in the course outline. But I have already uploaded a very large document on how to write a dissertation. So when you are writing yours, don't use the slides that I'm using for teaching, because I have summarized this. But the other ones are many, I think around 80. You get them on the research dissertation, you'll find it there. Writing a dissertation, you'll find it and give you details. So colleagues, having said that, typical dissertation structure. Now I'm going to move a little faster because I know time is not on our side. What could be the typical, dissertation structure for our mighty university, Utamu? Don't bring what your other universities were telling you. One, preliminary pages. And the preliminary pages run from title page to abstract. Colleagues, the title page must have the title, the name of the student, the registration number, and if you like, put your previous academic qualification. Sometimes I attempt to do that, it scares the lecturers, especially those ones who supervise me, because they are thinking 4 or 5 lines, the past or the previous qualification. So I have avoided, I no longer put them there. But it's a requirement that you can't do that, so that we get to know that this student is somebody well informed, so that even in the title they know, yes, this is Hamid, has done this already, and is doing this for the 10th time, which is okay. Then, of course, where you're submitting, which is cool. Is it a thesis or a dissertation? Colleagues, a thesis is that kind of a research report which is written without having coursework. A dissertation has both coursework and examination. So what are we having in Utamu? It is a dissertation. I hope we know the difference. Colleagues, having said that, we ought therefore to understand that within the preliminary pages, we have what I would call a declaration page. Yes, very important. Approval page. Yes, very important. Then you go to maybe table of contents. Very important. You go to the list of tables if you have them. Very important. List of figures if you have them. Very important. List of acronyms if you have them. Very important. And then you now go to what I would call an abstract, which should be written in a manner that it should be in one page and in one paragraph. And it should be having 5 W's and 1 H. Don't ask for me about this now. Ask at the end of the lecture, which is okay. Chapter 1, colleagues, we already discussed about this in our research proposal. The only thing that you are going to do in chapter 1, which is introduction, is to make sure that you expand it. It must have the introduction of the chapter. 1.1 introduction. 1.2 background. 1.3 you go ahead and discuss what's in the background. 1.4 colleagues, you go ahead and talk about what you ought to talk. Maybe the problem statement. Then 1.4, maybe the purpose of the study. 1.5, maybe you talk about what you should have spoken about. What could this be? We are talking about the objectives. Then 1.5 or 1.6, whatever the number is, you go and look at issues to do the research questions. And 1.7, colleagues, if it matters, you have to ensure that you bring whatever is required in every chapter. And of course, you ought to know that in most cases, people ought to understand what must actually be added there. I'll repeat. 1.1 is introduction in chapter 1. 1.2 is a background to the study. Yes. 1.3 is the problem statement. 1.4 is the general objective or purpose or objective of the study. 1.5 is a specific objective. 1.6 is a research questions. 1.7 is a research hypothesis. In case the study is that study which is of quantitative nature, then, of course, you have to go to the conceptual framework. Very important. And then significance of the study, the execution of the study, then scope of the study, and then you end with the operational definitions. Colleagues, I have remained on this slide because I know time is not there. And I can remain on this and be able to explain exactly what is required in each of these. Colleagues, chapter 2 has literature review. And we call it literature review because we ought to review the literature. We have 2.1, which is basically the introduction of what? Of the chapter. 2.2, colleagues, theoretical review. What theories you talked about in chapter 1, you review them here. And 2.3, conceptual review. That is the IV and the DV, if you must mention them. Then you review them accordingly, and you review them in film. Then 2.4 is empirical studies, related, okay? Meaning they must be related to the subject matter. Don't go to the field and begin collecting every data. No. The literature that you are going to review is specifically what is important. You can't go to the forest and begin cutting every tree. No. Cut only those ones that you meant to use either for roofing or for the wall. That is what happens with us in terms of who are still sleeping in muddy houses. Yes, you go to the forest, get this is for the wall, this is for the roof, which is key and very important. After, of course, doing that, you have what I call 2.5, key thesis of literature review. We have already spoken about this. Colleagues, very key and very important. The research methodology, therefore, in case time catches us, is basically written as chapter number 3, methodology. And that is how it should be. Don't add any word. Methodology, chapter 3, methodology. Colleagues, you must have the introduction of the chapter, methodology chapter, which is 3.1. Then some of you who are possessed with the philosophy of the research. Somebody asked, we are studying this, but we are not seeing the significance. We are not seeing the relevancy. It is relevant in chapter number 3. The research philosophy. Yes, or philosophy of the research. Is it positivism? Is it interpretivism? What is it? So this is what I would say. You choose whether it is quantitative or qualitative research. The research paradigms are relevant in chapter number 3. But most importantly, 3.3 is the research design. Yes, but in case you did not have the research philosophy, which is not compulsory right now for master's degree in Utamu, you go for research design after the introduction. Then you go to determination of the sample, or I mean the study population, which is 3.3. 3.4 is determination of the sampling size. Then you go to what I would call, data collection methods. After determining data collection methods, which methods are they? Yes. And then you go to what I would call, after data collection methods, then data collection instruments. Yes. After data collection instruments, then you go to what we call data quality or data quality. That is validity and reliability. Yes. Then procedures for data collection and then data analysis. Then, colleagues, you go to what I would call, ethical consideration, and you will be done with that. Chapter 3. Chapter 4, colleagues, of course, you are not yet there, but I just want you to know that these areas are examinable, because I can ask you, what is the structure of the research dissertation according to term guidelines? Make sure you dwell here and expand them. I commonly bring this question, and it will not miss, it will come in. So if you are there, you are sleeping, this class normally has about 155, today I'm seeing 128, which is also okay. I don't have any problem with that, because we formulate a quorum, and I've not told anybody to be absent. It depends on you. But this is going to affect you even in the near future for those who are writing a dissertation, because it's taught once. Research methods is taught once. And now the research seminars is you reflect on what you were taught today. So please don't joke around, because it is something that's going to impact on you either negatively or positively. So colleagues, how about chapter number 4? Chapter number 4 is basically about findings. And what we normally have is presentation, analysis, and interpretation of these results. Colleagues, 4.1 is an introduction. 4.2 is the response rate. 4.3 is background information of the respondents. 4.4 is the descriptive and inferential statistics of the variables. 4.5 is what I would want you to look at, the relationship between the IV and the BV. And if you are going to have this, then make sure you have it very well. But again, we also need to understand that you present those results according to the specific objectives. So that's how it's done. But again, you ought to understand that you have to summarize all of those hypotheses or hypothesize and test them if it was a quantitative study. Then chapter number 5 is the summary, discussion, conclusion, and recommendation of these results that you are talking about. Colleagues, you have to go to the main document. I've told you this is basically for us to have this class move, because the other one has got 83 slides. This only has 20, and we are still on the slide number 7. But no worries, we shall now move very fast on the others. So appendices is compulsory, and chapter number 5 stops at the last page of the reference list, meaning the body starts from chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 4, and the last page of chapter 5. In appendices, I want to see the research tools and other important documents, like letters of introduction and so on and so forth. Colleagues, I don't know whether I still have time. If I have, allow me to quickly move. Colleagues, if you have looked at this, let's look at the do's in dissertation writing. What you should do in dissertation writing. Colleagues, are you able to hear me well?
Yes,
Doctor.
loud and clear.
Thank
Yes,
you.
sir.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank
Doctor,
you.
loud and clear.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Colleagues, these are the do's in dissertation writing. And if you don't mind, the recording of the platform is not enough. Record this using your phone, because I will bring this in your examination. And it will also impact on you, maybe positively, when you are writing your dissertation. Write from approved proposal. Do not write a dissertation that you have cooked overnight. from these people who keep posting. Do you need an expert in dissertation writing? Are you stuck anywhere? Whenever I see those postings in any platform, including that of Wotamu, it irritates me. I will mention this again. You are not supposed to be a child who is fed as if you're in a nursery. No. You must write your own dissertation. Therefore, write your dissertation from an approved proposal by either your sponsor, some universities call them sponsors, but in Wotamu we call them supervisors, and also the faculty or the school. Use current credible sources. Colleagues, I will mention this again. Credible sources. Anything which has been published, but don't go to this, what is it called? There are these sources which are not credible. First of all, TikTok is not a credible source. Don't use it. Newspapers are not credible unless you are quoting the author, and go exactly and see where the author is writing from. But those are not credible sources. If you're a journalist and you're here, I don't have any problem with you. I also have a daughter who is a journalist. To be specific, she's the spokesperson of Cattle Markets Authority. But sometimes I disagree with her and I tell her, excuse me, daughter, there are certain things I don't agree with you journalists. They report anything. Right now, there are investigations. People are being arrested left, right, and center. A journalist brings it in his own perspective. Here, we call it scholarly writing. So use credible sources. Must be from articles that are published and acceptable. Don't use Wikipedia. Wikipedia is not a source. I will repeat this. Do not use Wikipedia. Don't use your Wikipedia. I see Wikipedia. I'm currently marking your proposal. I see Wikipedia, marks gone. Use credible sources. And they should be as current as 10 years. Link every section logically. Like we have said, if you are writing and you are writing your literature review, begin with the introduction of the chapter. Go to the theoretical review. Go to the conceptual review. Review the related literature and go to empirical studies and make sure you review using what I would call objective, and write in a semantic manner, and go to a gap analysis. Cite every borrowed idea. Colleagues, according to Tokei, Basheka, Odubuker, and Barifaido, get the point. They say, when you are reviewing literature, begin from the theoretical perspective, which was carried from chapter 1, and now come here and say theoretical review. You are now reviewing literature using the theoretical perspective, conceptual perspective from chapter 1. Now go and say conceptual review. Review the concept. Cite every borrowed idea. It is not your idea. Cite it. Colleagues, use tables and figures wisely. Where you have used a figure, why do you have again to use a table? Unless the guidelines say so. Colleagues, revise before supervisor review. Don't just throw work there because the supervisor is saying your time is up. Don't do that, colleagues. Colleagues, is very important. These are the do's in dissertation writing. Let us look at what I would say the mistakes some of you do. The don'ts. Colleagues, don't in dissertation writing. Do not plagiarize words. Even the speech. Never pretend to speak like 2K. You are not one. I remember one of the wives of one of the presidents, they are called the first ladies, started plagiarizing the speech and the way another wife of another president was speaking. That was a problem. Do not invent data. Data collected under manga tree is not only criminal, but it is evil and it's a sin, and you will not go to heaven. Colleagues, do not ignore feedback. When I tell you that this work has gaps and I've given you feedback, please do not ignore, do not delete. Personally, I will make sure I go through your work and up to the last dot. I don't just approve anything. I know there are students who want the moment the work appears, they get feedback and they go to something else before they have been approved. I think that's wrong, colleagues. Do not overclaim findings. Findings, if they are negative, report what's negative. Don't force them to be positive. Do not make citation styles. No. In Utamu, we are using APA. Don't bring any other style because that is what you are acquainted to. Do not submit unedited drafts. Save as draft 1 or draft 0, draft 1, draft 2, and then the approved one is what you will be able to use. That is the don'ts in dissertation writing. Colleagues, writing effective introduction is very important. What are you borrowing? Are you borrowing from Amin or Mugenda and Mugenda? This is key. Conceptualize the study problem. Yes. Show the evidence gave. State the purpose of the objective. Define the scope and assumption. Justify practical significance. End with the chapter organization. Colleagues must do that. Our chapter 1 is organized in a manner that we have this. And that's what we call chapter 1, introduction, and we have talked about it. Yes, and have it in a manner that you conceptualize. Background to the study. Make sure, bring the problem statement, general objective, specific objective, research hypothesis, research questions if you have, that kind of thing. And the conceptual framework is a must. Significance of the study, justification of the study, scope of the study. And colleagues, I want to tell you this. This specific one, if you are minding, write about it because chapter 1 comes as a compulsory question in your forthcoming exam. If you want to test me, ignore this. But if you want to know that I'm a man of my words, take it in an extra recording. Otherwise, you are finished because I will finish what I have started by making sure I bring this. Writing effective introduction is very important, and I will bring a scenario and which will be able to bring this very clearly, colleagues. I don't know whether I'm communicating. Am I communicating?
Yes, sir.
Yes, you are
Thank you so much.
Doctor.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So, literature review and theory. Colleagues have already spoken about this. And I've basically said, when you, Dominic has raised his hand, I don't know, can I finish this? Then you can ask questions. Unless the slides are not moving. Dominic, what is it about? Can you go for it and mute and tell me what you wanted to say?
Yes, doctor, thank you. I'm getting you loud and clear, but the pace is kind of a bit fast today. I'm not really understanding. I'm not really grabbing, honestly.
I've not understood the question. What is the question about?
I said I'm getting you loud and clear, but you are fast today, faster today than ever. So I'm not really grabbing, absolutely everything you are saying.
Thank you so much. I'm fast because we are at a time when we are looking at what we have already covered. Chapter 1, Chapter 2, and Chapter 3 were covered in the research proposal. What we are only doing here is that we are trying to ensure that we put more meat on the Chapter 1, Chapter 2, Chapter 3, but written in a past tense. But I can see it slower down, but we may not be able to finish. So, colleagues, I can now slow down, but unfortunately, I don't know how to speak slowly because my mother taught me how to speak fast but clearly. So, I don't know, but I also need to take consideration that everybody understands what I'm speaking. Colleagues, am I loud and clear?
Loud and clear.
Yes. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Dominic, I will slow down a bit. I was running at 100 kilometers per hour. Let me bring it to 60. Thank you. So literature review is very important because it is this literature that actually shows that you have established a gap. Synthesis is very important. Synthesis is making meaning out of what you claim you have actually reviewed, not merely listing studies. Compare methods and findings, which we normally say we need to look at related studies. You can actually go and say to K, Odubuke, Basheka, Barifayo, and Oluka use this methodology, and they came up with these findings. Now, if they use this methodology and came up with these findings, so what? Establish the gap. Call it a gap. By identifying the babes and gaps, this is very key and very important. Very key and very important. Hello? Yes, I'm in class. What were you saying? Pardon? It's okay. It's fine. I thought you were going to come. It is fine. It is fine. When you are ready, you let me know. Okay, so today we're not meeting. It's okay. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Thank you. So, colleagues, you ought to look at what I would say, identification of debates and gaps. So, if to K, Odubuker, Barifayo, Oluka, and Basheka said this, what are you saying? Identify those debates and close up the gap. Anchor the variables in theory. What is the theory anchoring your study? Let us know. Use recent peer-reviewed works. Colleagues, if there have been these studies, use them, provided they are peer-reviewed. Like I mentioned, a colleague had mentioned, we should not use case studies. But those case studies, if they have been published, use them. If they are unpublished and they are a work of AI, do not use them. Show your conceptual framework, meaning you have to write them in themes, which is very key and very important. Colleagues, I know I could be running fast, but I'm not also ignorant that we have been able to answer this. The methodology. What is the methodology that you are using? Is it quantitative or qualitative, or you are merging them? They are concept. If you are using both, then you must make sure that you justify. Colleagues, everything you do in chapter number 3, which is the research methodology, has what we call justification. If it's this design, why? If it's this population, why? If it's this sample, why? If it's this data collection method, why? If it's this instrument, why? If it is this population, why? Everything, ask the question why and justify. Colleagues, explain the instruments and the validity, because we want to know how valid your instrument is. Describe the reliability checks clearly and present the ethical safeguards. Yes, you presented your work and you were cleared by a number of authorities. And when you also went to the field, you got permission from a chairman LC1, and you were able to be granted permission. And whatever you did, you never did it under the mango tree. Bring it clearly well. Findings and data presentation. Colleagues, present results objective. And we had mentioned this earlier on. When you are talking about presentation, then you ought to bring out key issues. Yes? My battery is running low. Let me see. Just a moment so that my class is not cut short. Yes. Just a moment, colleagues. A moment. Yes. I think I'm safe. I think I'm safe. I'm safe. Am I safe? Can you hear me?
Yes, Doctor.
Yes, you are clear, sir.
Yes, we can hear you. Thank you. Thank you. Let me see how best I can connect to this, because I've just connected into power. My battery was down. Okay. 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 Are the slides seen?
Yes.
No.
Okay.
Yes,
Thank you so
Doctor,
much.
I can see
So
them
colleagues,
from
we're
my
moving a
end.
little faster, but I want us to appreciate the fact that I want you also people to understand. When we talk about findings and data presentation, we're talking about chapter number 4, which basically has this written in a manner that it is presentation, analysis, and interpretation of results. Check what I have uploaded. Use this for your easy understanding, because normally as I upload those slides, there are many others there. Some are as old as 2018 when I started taking up this module, and some of them have got me as a, a person who is a dean, graduate school. Not today. I'm an ordinary lecturer today. So please don't think I've plagiarized this. No. So I uploaded them as, I think, as early as 2018, 2017 when I started teaching this module. So colleagues, what am I trying to say? Make sure you use what is already uploaded in unit number 7. And please continue to help those who are not able to access this in the platform, and download them and put them on your group so that people can be able to follow. Don't download this one. I've not shared this, but I will also share it later. So what are we saying? Chapter 4 is an introduction. That is what you ought to understand. Presenting results objective is very key. But begin by looking at the introduction of the chapter. Very important. Look at the issues of the response rate. Very important. Background information of the respondents, and make sure use clear tables and charts. Yes, report statistically accurate, those statistics, but use the background information. Could be a distribution of respondents by age, a distribution of respondents by gender. That is just an example. A distribution of respondents by maybe terms of employment, level of education, that kind of thing. Colleagues, use quotes for qualitative evidence. Yes, every quantitative evidence, you have to ensure that you use the relevant quotes and the sources. For instance, if the table is a primary table, then you say primary data. You get the point. Primary data from this, that kind of thing. And normally, primary data, you have to put the year when you collected it. Avoid interpreting too early. Colleagues, this chapter is about 4 things. Presentation. How have you presented? Is it in tables or in figures or charts, whatever? Analysis now comes later. Then interpretation. So you first present, could be in tables, it could be in charts, it could be in figures. Then after that, you ought to do what we call analysis. After analyzing, then interpret. Very important. Avoid interpreting too early. Don't interpret too early. No. First analyze before you interpret. Protect the participant confidentiality. I've given you information. You're saying according to TK. No, don't do that. Yesterday we were in a very sensitive meeting and somebody was being called and said, we need to trick this man and tell him to come here. But what we want him to do is to hand over ABCD. So I looked at that and said, this guy had actually retired. Now, if he's going to hand over this motorcycle now, then they will take him to be a very dishonest person. When the man retired almost a year ago, I said, excuse me, what is happening is a trick. If you never handed that motorcycle and yet you retired, you better do it now because it is very unethical. You should have handed over everything. And that's a government property. Have you handed it, yes or no? He said, not yet. I was still expecting, a renewal of a contract. I told him, excuse me, when you retire, you have gone. But again, don't go and begin quoting me. But please, hand it over as earliest time. Because They are going to get you and they can charge you. We're seeing people in the parliament being arrested left, right, and center, you know, which is really a problem. And, you know, one of them is my student and was meant to have defended his dissertation, and I felt bad. And of course, another one is still a student in our mighty university. But when I see their names with these scandals, it is very bad. Thank you. Colleagues, do not reveal the name of the person giving you information. Don't. In Teso, where I come from, at one point X, during the time of the insurgency, a lady had her husband together with other rebels talking about the people that they were going to kill that same night. And this lady goes and alerts the man and tells him that, you know what, you man, much as you are here, you are going to die tonight. My husband and other rebels are planning to come for you tonight. Therefore, just a moment. Yes, Okondwa. Good afternoon. It's okay, I'm going to call him shortly, but I think he's around. Have you already gone to fire brigade? Okay, I'm going to call him. Let me call him. Let me call him. Marvin, come and help me call this number. Just a minute, because I have a class. Somebody is working on my car at fire brigade. No, call him and tell him that the mechanics from police mechanical workshop are already there. They are waiting for him. Let him go. Let him go and give them the key. Because from here I have to go to Kakiri. Yeah, so this number here, when he picks, tell him that the mechanics are there. Thank you, it's urgent. So colleagues, this is very, very important. Protect the confidentiality of the people who give you information. I was just mentioning before you received this call. I deal with emergencies, so colleagues, you will forgive me. I pick every call. So it happens that this lady goes and alerts the person who was supposed to be killed that night. And the man now comes proudly and said, I'm told you people want to kill me. Your wife has just told me that you want to kill me. You can imagine, that woman by up to now, nobody knows where she went. Don't reveal the name of the person who has given information. If she has given information, why do you reveal my name? Similarly, if I've told you that we have got poor performance in the Uganda police force, please don't reveal my name. It is me who has given you the information, and some of this information is very vital for the institution to grow, for them to perform better. In 2017-2018, I graduated in 2019 with a master's degree of monitoring and evaluation. And my title was Monitoring and Evaluation System and Performance of the Canine Unit in the Uganda Police Force. So I made sure I had to ensure that I did what I did because I really wanted to ensure that, you know, people give me the information. People give me the information, and the information that they give me should be that very vital information. But I must tell you, colleagues, during that time, I got a lot of information. That's the time when people were being murdered, Katabi, women in Nansana, you know, all of that was happening. Then I said, but a dog cannot be corrupted. How come these dogs cannot do the job? So I said, I think there's a performance with these dogs. I went to the commandant of dog section and told him, sir, I want to come and carry out an investigation. I want to know why these dogs are not able to do the work. And I went and observed, collected a lot of information. All what he told me was that dogs have helped me. And from that time, the funding, even the quality of the dogs has improved. And I also have one. If you want to dare me, you come to my home, especially in Teso. That dog can actually know whoever has taken my beehive or has taken my honey, and he will come up to your home. But that's not important. What I'm trying to tell you here is that do not reveal. I was given a lot of information, even by the people within the canine department themselves, but I would not give their names. So be ethical enough, because it is very important for you to be able to, you know, do all what it takes. Otherwise, the moment you don't do that, then you will have issues. You will have issues, and those issues that you'll have are issues of you not being ethical. Colleagues were coming to the conclusion, so I want us to be patient, and you borrow me maybe 10 minutes or so that we are able to conclude. We are able to conclude. Yes. So colleagues, this is very important. Protect participants' confidentiality. This is what we are saying. Having said that, let's look at the summary, discussion, conclusion, and recommendation. I have mentioned this. A summary of what? A summary of results. Where are they? In chapter 4. A discussion of what? A discussion of the results. Where are they? In chapter 4. How are you supposed to do it? You have to discuss it objective by objective and discuss strictly results. And as you do that, make sure that you interpret findings with literature and explain the agreement and contradiction, meaning they should always be your voice heard. Colleagues, the only chapter in a dissertation that makes you to be understood very well and that brings your contribution is a discussion section. Why? Because we want to hear your voice. If Tukey said this, or Dubukere said this, Basheka said this, or Luka said this, Dorika said this, what are you saying? So this is all very important, and it is key. Have you told them that these mechanics are there? Very great, thank you. So colleagues, this is very important. Very, very important in a manner that we all ought to understand that whatever is done according to what is required. Discussion is key. After discussion, you have to conclude. Yes, I've called them, they are coming. Thank you so much. So colleagues, this is very important. Interpret findings with the literature. Explain the agreement and contradiction. Highlight the contribution to knowledge. Yes, if you have been able to do this discussion, you have actually been able to do the study. What is your contribution to academics, to society, to that institution? What is the contribution? Make sure you bring this out very well. Colleagues, conclude from evidence only. Make the recommendations which are actionable. And actionable meaning they should be able to improve. Very important. If then you don't do that, then you are going to have a lot of issues. Colleagues, I want us to understand that if you have discussed, make a conclusion. I used to have this primary teacher, I was called Lawrence Onanyang. I went to a primary school called Okungro Primary School. Okungro is in Bukedia, sub-county, Bukedia County, Bukedia District. Right now we're on the limelight. I don't know whether positively or negatively, but at least I'm not culpable. Thank you. Somebody yesterday was posting, a lady, on the WhatsApp group, where I'm actually the chairperson of the dentistry board. And they were saying that they wanted principal, I'm in class, concluding they can come, I'm around. Let me conclude with the class. I'm already here. Yes, let them come. I'm concluding with the class. Thank you. So they were saying there is a lady who posted herself. I don't know whether I've seen that. And now they were saying that the lady said she wanted a muteso, a moon teso, M-U-N, like Manu, then teso. And they were actually writing things and concluding that the lady only wanted Iteso from Bukedea because we're in the limelight. But much as they wanted Iteso to impregnate her because she had a lot of money to give, she never wanted men from Katakwi. I don't know whether we have them here. And I don't know the reasons why. So I was very clear on this. And I told these people that they should be very careful with what they post. Because personally, I'm proud to be a person from Teso and from Bukedia. But I'm not a Muntenso, I'm an Etesot. And avoid that lady, I think she didn't know what she wanted, but she was a lady who had actually masqueraded and wanted herself to be anywhere for any man. So colleagues, never draw conclusions anyhow. People now drawing conclusions based on tribes. Don't do that. It's not a tribe that's tall. No. It is individuals. And besides, we're all human beings. Don't draw conclusions when you do not have evidence. Draw conclusions only from evidence-based. Draw recommendations which are actionable. State limitations and future research. Colleagues, this is very important. Having said that, colleagues, I want us to appreciate the fact that there are already guidelines for us to follow, there are styles for us to follow, and there are techniques for us to follow. The university has its format, use it, use only one citation style, that is APA, prefer clear academic language, what we call scholarly writing. Don't write as if you are writing an article in a newspaper. We are not newsmen, no. We are academic writers. Scholarly writing is very important. Maintain consistent headings. Chapter 1 should be in caps. And if it's font 12, let's be font 12. If it's Times New Romans, it should be Times New Romans. If it's double spacing, it's double spacing. So be consistent. If you are not, then you will have issues. Colleagues, check the grammar and plagiarism and pignation. Pignation is very important. Use references and software carefully. If you are going to use Zotero, Zotero will help you to simplify your work. Don't use AI, use Zotero. AI is a source of information. Much as it's also a tool, don't use it for writing a dissertation. No, use it as a source of information. Thank you. Colleagues, after writing a dissertation, there is always a write-up that we say you either publish or perish. We ought to understand that you do scholarly writing. Extract an objective and write a paper with your supervisor. Currently, the Dean of Graduate School, that is Dr. Tabisa, is inviting for abstract. If you have one from already a published kind of dissertation from somewhere, I know people here who even have PhDs, it's okay. They're only in class to pass time, which is fine. They have already a master's somewhere, it's okay. Publish. Well, I've got ICTM, which is upcoming. ICTM 26, International Conference of Technology and Management. You can begin publishing or presenting papers, acceptable. So convert the dissertation into paper, not the entire dissertation, but just get maybe objective 1, objective 2, like that. Select the focus theme and be able to do that. Write a concise abstract first. Right now they are calling for them. Align titles, aims, and methods. Use visuals and communication for you to be able to do that. Colleagues, that's what I'm doing. Then what we call practice the timing and questions. Very key and very important, colleagues. This is what we ought to understand. So after dissertation, please publish your work, because they are saying a dissertation may not be able to share, because some people write dissertations and keep them in their shelves. I have many of them here. But when you go and put to K, Kwadi, Dr. Kwadi to K, and you go to Mr. Google, you will find a man is also relevant. Meaning, we don't die. You either publish or perish. Those ones who publish do not perish. Even after 1,000 years, somebody will still be alive. That's why all of the write-ups about Jesus Christ are still being seen on the internet, even after he's long gone. Even if the man never went to school, but is he a man? No, he's God himself. Colleagues, I want you to know this. If you go to Mr. Google and you put your name and you are not there, then you are not yet there. But if you have put your name and it also brings it in a negative way, even if you have not published, no, it's a problem. People who have been arraigned in court right now, including those 7 that were taken to court 2 days ago, their names are already there. You'll never remove them, but they are there negatively. For you to clean that up, it will take decades after you are being maybe released. Because right now it's an allegation. It's purported that they stole money. It's purported that they did this. But ideally, at the end of the day, they have to prove themselves innocent because those are allegations. That's why the magistrate told them it was beyond her jurisdiction. So after High Court, there will be a hearing. After the fair hearing, they can actually say, no, I don't know who put the money there. At one point in time, I found money in my account and I asked the bank, who brought this money? Then they said, Uganda Police Force. I said, no, but I have been already paid. Why this money? I was given the salary. Then they said, what are you going to do? I said, I'm withdrawing this money and I'm taking it back to the government coffers. And I took the receipt. I told them, you had already paid me. Who put this money in my account? Then they say, you man, are you a fool? I told them I'm not a fool. I don't want PAC to get me and ask me why I got 3 salaries. Because the name which was there was Okwadi Joseph. Then there was Okwadi Michael. Then there was Okwadi Joseph Michael. Then there was Okwadi Joseph Michael Tukey. I only took the name, the money of one name. The rest of the monies, I told them I'm not the one. Then they say, but you man, that time they used to pay us on the payroll and they would do, you would line up for money. Then the pay officer would tell you, you can sign here, then it remains with your 50 shillings. So they were caught, and at the end of the day, my hands were clean. I told them, no, they got my salary. This one I don't know. Going to the bank, there was more money there. I said, no, this one I don't know. So colleagues, very key and very important. When you see money on your account, be in the billions, ask yourself, why is the money there? Somebody could be using your name. Then later on, he will tell you, Dr. Tukey, did you see the money? Then you say, yes, I saw. Did you use it that yes? Give me 50% of that money. Colleagues, a right thing is a right thing even if nobody says it. That's it. At one point in time, I was given money to do an activity, 2.5 million shillings. Then later on, I was told to sign a voucher that was saying I'd signed for 25 million. I told him, excuse me, sir, you gave me 2.5 million shillings. I went for an outreach program. I went to Busunju, I went to Nagarama, I went to Kireka, I went to police headquarters, and I paid everybody 1,500,000. I brought back 1 million. You are telling me to sign for 25 million. No, the director is saying, I told him, excuse me, sir. If the director said it, tell him I am not willing to go and answer questions. This government money, please, if you add the 25 million, you only gave me 2,500,000. Thank you. So please, do not accept anything that is not within what you have earned. Otherwise, you'll have issues. Colleagues, if I've diverted you, we're talking about your name being seen somewhere only through publication. And the publication should be positive, not about corruption, not about embezzlement, not about defilement, not about thieving, not about murder, not about, the only time I saw my name and I saw that was negative is when they put an article that was New Vision. Fake priest, cons, senior police officer. I went to read, I said, so long as I'm not the one who was conned. And the name was about me. And that was 50 million. Up to now, my heart is still bleeding. Somebody came and he blessed me. He told me to kneel down. He gave me a rosary. He gave me a fake Bible. He went away with my 50 million. From that time, I'm very careful. Whoever comes with a white collar, I'm also careful. Colleagues were summarizing. Let's look at other issues. After the dissertation, present conference papers. After the conference papers, do publication. Target appropriate journal scope. In Uganda, now Universal Technology and Management University, we have got digital. International Journal of Technology and Management University. We have our own journal. It is based in the US. Please have some time and be able to publish 1 or 2 articles. Read the author's guidelines carefully. Right now, Dr. Tabis has done that. She is receiving abstract. The structure matrix precisely. I have 20 articles to publish and she gave me the guidelines. Declare conflicts and ethics. Respond politely to reviewers. Revise with evidence, not emotions. Colleagues, skills on how to get published. Yes, start writing during analysis. Build a co-author accountability. Right now, if you have anything you want to co-author with me, why not? We can do it. Avoid predatory journals. Disclose AI assistance transparently. Somebody mentioned about this. There are some of those articles that are AI generated. Don't use them. Persist through peer review. That is very important. Colleagues, dissemination of research findings is very key. After you have written the dissertation, the thesis, what you ought to do is share with your supervisors first, present to stakeholders directly, prepare the policy brief. I've done that. All my studies have been in police. Before I publish anything, I make sure I make presentations to them and they will tell me, doctor, this is very okay. But when you are publishing, don't publish this one. Colleagues, that is very important. Engage the community's ethical and translate this evidence in a manner that is required. Colleagues, having said that, what could be the key takeaways and closing for today? A dissertation proves a scholarly competence. A good writing follows good thinking. Ethics protects credibility. Publication extends research values. Dissemination creates real impact. Revise, revise, revise until evidence speaks. Colleagues, having said that, I don't have any problem with you. If you have any problem with me, ask questions. Otherwise, next time we meet, I will be able to recap Unit 1, Unit 2, Unit 3, Unit 4, Unit 5, Unit 6, and Unit 7 before you people can take over from there to present in your group. Thank you so much. In my language, you say, Elamanoi, Kidaredeke, Papa, Oni, Kere. See you over the top. Madam President, over to you. Otherwise, thank you so much. Emmanuel, you can go for it.
Thank you so much, Doctor.
You can oversee this. I think there are few questions. If we do not have a class ongoing, please, I can allow 2 questions. Yugu, Jobo, Emmanuel, go for it.
Yes,
Doctor.
thank you so much, Doctor. My question is related to your explanation in regards to literature review, where you say that most of the literatures are outdated. So we should focus on literatures, for example, from 2016 up to present. Considering that maybe informations that are relevant to the research topic are also from the past literatures. How do you advise on this? Of course, for example, if they are relevant to the kind of information needed in the research, so does it mean that we need to leave them out and concentrate on maybe recent
Thank you so much,
literatures?
Emmanuel, I get you. Emmanuel, I want you to get me right. The most relevant literature should be 10 years. That is updated. It's more relevant. Any literature below 10 years is obsolete. Why am I calling it obsolete? It has been overtaken by events. So you ought to know that anything which is older than 10 years has been overtaken by events. Come in and have a seat, please. Come in and have a seat. I'm still in class. So we ought therefore to understand that if you have any literature which is below 10 years, you can use it, but you should be having literature which is updated. I will give you an example. If 2K did a study in 2013 and is quoting something which is related to your study, there is no worry, you can quote it. But look for the most recent literature between 2016 and 2020 to substitute on the literature that you feel is related. However, you also ought to understand that there is some literature, excuse me, just let me tell those kids to move away from there. There is also some concepts or the theories. For instance, you can talk about the theory of maybe 2030 BC or 120 AD. And you are quoting something relevant about Jesus. It's okay. Quote it, it's relevant. It's related. But make sure there is something updated. Maybe from a recently published journal by some pastor who also quoted the Bible. So it is good for you to be able to quote that. Like determination of a sample, according to Craig and Morgan, table 1970. You can use that, but you can say, as cited by 2K in his recent study, then you mention the title that was published in 2020. I don't know whether I'm clear about this. Am I clear? I think people are leaving for other classes. Thank you so much for listening to me, Madam President. I think we can stop here for today. Thank you so much. God bless each of you. An announcement, anything which is not clear, Madam President, let me know. Otherwise, next time we meet, I'm going to have a short, I will allow a short recap of only 30 minutes. Then I will have a short presentation of 30 minutes. Then we shall have 1 hour of groups to begin presenting, and each group having 10 minutes. Thank you so much. God bless you. See you over the top.
Thank you so much, Doctor.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.